Hi everyone, welcome to the 3ds Max learning tutorial. Today's topic is how to create a terrain in 3ds Max. We will be doing 2D drawings in AutoCAD and we will import them in 3ds Max. Okay, let's start with preparing our file for 3ds Max. I have a basic drawing in here. We have these topography lines that we need to turn into a terrain in 3ds Max. Okay, the first thing I want you to pay attention to is to create these contour lines by using the polyline command, not the spline. Because if you use spline command to create these lines, it creates lots of vertices in 3ds Max, which might cause a problem later on. So as to prevent that, I create my contour lines like this. I write down PL for polyline. And then I roughly draw my lines. And then I go over the midpoint and I say convert to arc and create these curvatures. Like that. Sometimes you will need more vertices. I'll just go over it and I say add vertex and fix it like this. This pink one is the version that I created by using the polyline, and this neon green one is the version that I created with spline. I'll show you the difference in 3ds Max. After I created these contour lines, I'll just keep one straight line on the top and one straight line at the bottom. And then I save my file. I put these contour lines in a different layer. Okay, first things first, I need to check the units if it matches with the units that I use in AutoCAD. I go to customize unit setup, and this part should be in centimeters because I use centimeters in AutoCAD. And the system unit also needs to be in centimeters. To import my file, I go to File, Import, Import. I choose my AutoCAD file and open it up. In here, I just need to choose the layer one. And I go to Layers. You can just unclick the ones that you don't want in your scene. And then press OK. So, very important thing. The drawing should be very close to the starting point. What I mean by that. See, we have the 0, 0, 0 coordinate in here, and my drawing should be very close to this, or it could be on top of this as well. So in 3ds Max, here is the starting point. If you put your drawing too far, it might cause a problem. Let's look at the topography line that we create by using the command spline. So as you can see, it creates lots of vertices in here, and which causes a problem in the future. Let's check the one that we create by using the polyline. So we see less vertices, which is good for us. Let me get rid of this drawing. Since we are just going to work with the topography, I'll isolate these lines by clicking here. Now, as you can see, I have all these lines which are all in the same level. I need to create the level difference. I go to my modifier menu and go to this spline, and I choose the line that I'll work with, and then I go to the move tool and right click on it. Now I'll give the level difference. So the first contour line's height is 50 centimeters. So in the Z coordinate, I'll write down 50, enter. And this one is 100. This one is 150. This one is 200 and this one is 250. In this way we created the height differences. And then I go back to create menu and I go to compound objects and I choose terrain. Now it created my terrain. In order to see the lines, I press on F4 on my keyboard, or you can choose add faces from here. So this is my length. You can make adjustments on it right now. I go to my modifier menu again. I right click on my terrain and I convert it to the editable poly. And then I choose the border to choose around the terrain and I'm pressing shift. I keep pressing it. And then I highlight the Z coordinates by going over it. And then I click and drag it down. And then to flatten the bottom, we go down on the menu, find the Make Planner, don't press on it, just press on the Z one and it flattens it. Now you can play with it and arrange it accordingly. This is basically how you can create a terrain in 3ds Max. To add a path on it, let's unhide the rest. The rest of the drawing now under my terrain. In here, I have the path and the structure and the stairs and all that. To see them, we can make the terrain see-through by clicking Alt-X. If it doesn't work, just right-click on it and go to Object Properties and activate this button and activate see-through. Now we can see them. To select them, I press on H to see the things on my scene. Now I choose the path. Okay. I have this path line. I have something extra, I'll delete it. I go to the modifier menu and choose this one and I delete it. I'll just create the path on it. Let me make the terrain solid again. First, I choose my terrain. And again, in the Create menu, on the Compound Objects, I press on Shape Merge and click on the Pick Shape. And I click on this one. Now, it created the projection of this path on my terrain. I go to the Modifier menu and I right-click on my terrain and convert it to the editable poly. And then if I go to polygon, it chooses the path that I just created. To save this selection, I go to this part and I write down something that I want. I write path, enter, in order to choose it practically later on. And then you can just now extrude it or create an inset on it. Maybe extrude it back. So it is like this. And then later on, you can just delete this shape and that's it. Let's change the color. Okay, this is basically how you can create a terrain in 3ds Max. Thanks for watching.